now. Up to center and a hard check on Dave Maloney by 2 of the Kings. Shutt and Hawkinson, and an offside called against Buffalo. Oh, brother. No place for the weak of heart out there tonight, Nick. And now the Sabres upset with Hawkinson.
Well, the Kings, one thing you can say about this drawn-out third period is that they're definitely not backing down from the Sabres. They're getting involved now. Playfair and McClellan.
And McClellan is just whacking Playfair, and he knocks him down. Now he knocked his helmet off, and he knocked him down to the ice. Brian McClellan just leveled Larry Playfair.
Here comes Barrasso.
Now who's he going to go after? Both goaltenders are out of the crease. That's a 2-minute minor. Now everybody's in front of the Sabre bench.
You know why the Sabres came out? Because Playfair, their biggest guy, was getting beat up by Brian McClellan. That's why.
A great job by McClellan. Now Playfair trying to get at the Kings bench. Or not Playfair, excuse me, Barrasso. And who's Janasek throwing a punch at Barrasso.
Of course, players from both clubs trying to help out their goaltenders. But Brian McClellan just manhandled 6'4", 200-pound Larry Playfair. Mac, no slouch, the biggest player for the Kings at 6'3", 215.
Great job by McClellan. He just grabbed Playfair and pounded him right down to the ice. Mac doesn't get mad very often, but he did that time. And they're still trying to separate the goaltenders. I believe are at the bottom of the pile. Barrasso came skating out, and then all of a sudden it looked like he and Janasek.
Well, we've got something going on. Ruskowski, Dion, Hamel has a hold of, who is that? Gary Galley?
Or is it Galley? Let's see.
I think it's Galley.
Yeah, it's Galley. They've kind of separated everybody now except Galley and Gilles Hamel.
Lindy Ruff and one of the Kings on the boards right in front of the Buffalo bench. We can't see who it is, but now they have kind of cooled off. Dave Taylor apparently was mad at Ruff, but he's being restrained by another member of the Buffalo Sabres. Barrasso and Janasek still talking to each other, but they've kind of calmed down now. I don't know if it was Barrasso that was going after Janasek. We mentioned Barrasso. He gets involved. He got involved here last year, his rookie year. He came charging out of his goal crease, and Janasek had to leave his to even the score up.
I think you're right, Nick. The Sabres couldn't believe that Larry Playfair just got pounded down to the ice by Brian McClellan. And then they jumped out to help him, and that was when Playfair was down on the ice. And these fans standing and applauding the Kings. They have come fighting back in the third period in more ways than one.
Literally, they have. We've had, well, let's see, an altercation, Ruskowski and Mike Ramsey, Nichols and Peterson, Miller and Sear, Smith and McKenna, and now Playfair and Brian McClellan. This was the best bout. The heavyweights, the two biggest guys on the ice. Playfair, the biggest guy for the Sabres. Big Mac, the #1 guy size-wise for the Kings, and he really was all over Playfair. And the Sabres, they were in the kind of a middle of a line change. It looked like there were about 8 players out for each team, but the Sabres came to Playfair's aid first. The Kings didn't have to because McClellan was all over Playfair.
You know, we have wondered on more than one occasion, Nick, what would happen if Brian McClellan got upset, because he is such a big guy. Well, we just found out. He got upset there, and he took on Larry Playfair, 6'4", 220 pounds. Brian McClellan of the Kings just hammered him right down to the ice, knocked his helmet off, hammered him down. Mac is 6'3", 212. And with 3:53 to go in regulation, we are still tied 4-4, and we're going to get a pile of penalties out of this. The referee Brian Lewis is over against the penalty timekeepers bench, conferring with the two linesmen now.
It's the first time. Would you call that a bench? I guess everybody was out there, a bench clearing brawl.
It's hard to tell because all the fans stood up and we're behind the benches, and I couldn't see if players were off the bench or not. Some of them had to be because there were too many out on the ice.
Well, we got the whistle, and along the near boards, it appeared that both clubs were going to make changes. And that's when Playfair and McClellan dropped the gloves. They squared off, didn't get at each other right away, and then they started to throw them. More so McClellan throwing him than Playfair.
Yeah,
Brian McClellan only has 40 penalty minutes entering the game and just maybe 1 or 2 fighting majors. But Bob, if he would get mean out there early in a game for a couple of shifts, maybe take a penalty or 2, he would get so much extra room out there to maneuver because people would be scared of him.
Well, he may get some extra room the rest of this game if he ever gets back, if we go into overtime, because I'll tell you, not that I condone the fighting aspect, but it was just beautiful to see the way he hammered on Larry Playfair.
Now look at Tom Barrasso, Barrasso and Foligno are talking to some of the fans who are egging on the Sabres, and Foligno just gave the Italian salute to the crowd. He is Italian. Well, look at him. He's still motioning. He should get him game misconduct for that. That's uncalled for from a professional athlete. To the crowd.
Jerry Korab, who's not playing tonight, did that once in Philadelphia one night. And the fans now getting all over Foligno. Well, we have quite a night at the Fabulous Forum. Foligno still standing, staring at the crowd.
Well, the crowd probably threw something on the bench. Now he's making obscene gestures. No call for that from a player.
Meanwhile, the referee and the linesman are over trying to figure out all the other penalties.